Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In here, I'm Lailatul Fitri from IUPL class will explain about goal and purpose of Shariah or Maqasid. Okay, next slide. The table of content in here I will explain. Number one is definition of goal and purpose of Shariah or Maqasid. And then number two is Maqasid benefit. And then number three is Maqasid condition. And the number four is type of Maqasid. Okay, next slide. Maqasid, plural of maqsad or aim and objective Shariah, on the higher goal of Islamic law, hereinafter Maqasid refers to the meaning, purpose, and wisdom that the lawgiver has contemplated in his laws. The ultimate goal of Islamic law itself is the benefit of the world and the hereafter. Maqasid al-Shariah contains a general understanding and a special meaning, which according to Satya Effendi means the general purpose of the revelation of the Shariah by the Shariah or lawmakers. From general understanding refers to what is meant by legal verse or legal hadith. Both indicate by varying linguistic understanding or the objectives contained therein. Here it is identical with God's intention in lowering the legal verse or the prophet's intention in issuing legal hadith. While Maqasid in special meaning or in special sense is substance or goal to be achieved by a legal formulation. Okay, we are jump to next slide. Maqasid itself has a very important benefit, namely, it can fortify someone if they will abuse or will violate something. Therefore, in Shariah, punishing a person in the motto of fiqh al-mufti al-majin, which means a frown or frown law expressed who does so, either to please his client, follow his own interest, or get a certain answer even at any cost, which is a violation of Shariah, which is a divine law in principle, and twisting it in such a way is reprehensible. Okay, next slide. In addition to realizing the benefit of religion and the world, and fortifying someone if they will abuse or will violate something, Maqasid can solve problem for which there is no law in this argument. Therefore, if Maqasid is not realized, it will cause the loss of life and life. Okay, next slide. In this slide, according to Wahbah al-Zuhaili, there are four conditions in Maqasid, namely as follows. Number one is must be permanent, and then number two is must be clear, and then number three is must be measurable, and number four is generally applicable. From must be permanent, it means that the intent meanings must be certain or strongly suspended to be close to certainty. And then must be clear. In here, the fuqaha will not be different in determining the meaning. And number three is must be measurable. In here, the meaning must have a clear size or limit that cannot be doubted. And the last one, number four, is generally applicable, which means that the meaning will not be different due to the differences in the time and place. Okay, we jump to next slide. From the four Maqasid conditions, we can find out how the regulator measures whether these conditions have been fulfilled, namely by knowing whether the objectives of Maqasid have been realized. The goal is for the benefit of the world and the hereafter, and can solve problems for which there is no law in the arguments. In this addition, to measure whether the four conditions of Maqasid have been fulfilled, namely by maintaining religion, soul, mind, lineage, and property. If we keep these five things, then we have fulfilled the four conditions of Maqasid and can be called Maqasid. Okay, jump next slide. In this slide, there are three types of Maqasid, namely as follow. Number 1 is daruriyat, number 2 is hajiyat, and then number 3 is tahsiniyat. From daruriyat, it is something that should exist to be upheld to benefit both religion and the world. If it does not exist, then the benefit of the world will go well, and it will not go well. And the form of the religious aspect, it cannot be separate from Allah's punishment in the hereafter and will be in the great loss. And types 2 is hajiyat. Hajiyat, it is something that is very necessary to eliminate difficulties that can lead to the loss of something needs, but not to the point of destroying the common good. And the last type is tahsiniyat. Tahsiniyat is to take the best of the good according to the custom and stay away from the bad things that are not accepted by common sense. In other sense, tahsiniyat is what is gathered within the limit of noble character. Okay, next slide. In this slide, there are examples of each type of maqasid are as follows. From daruriyat, the example are such as faith, saying two sentence of Shahadah, establishing prayer, paying zakat, fasting in the month of Ramadan, pilgrimage to Mecca, and so on. As well as other examples to maintaining the soul and mind, that is eating, drinking, clothing, and board. And from Hajiyat, the examples such as a dispensation to leave fasting because of illness, or plural prayer because of travels, or weekend doing sholat jama for musafir. And the last one about tahsiniyat, such as wearing clean, polite, neat clothes for congregational prayer. Other examples include eliminating najis and forbidden buying and selling najis. Okay, next slide. Okay, that's all from me. I'm sorry if any mistake. If you have any question, you can ask me in that email. That's all for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.